Hey, so not long ago I did a video where Juan from Chile had written to me and asked a bunch of questions about two lists he was considering taking to a 750 point tournament. Now, today, Juan wrote back to me. He won the tournament. Congratulations! So I just wanted to show you guys because what he did, he wrote back to me and just let me know how it all turned out. He took some of the recommendations that I'd given him and took them to this tournament and did really well. So that's amazingly cool. Let me show you what he wrote here. Just a sec. Where do I have it? There we go. Right. So he recently wrote to me and won. The game went as follows. The first game, he had a draw against an Italian Bersaglieri platoon with objectives. Yeah, I guess that will often turn out a draw because the Italian Bersaglieris are really good skirmishers, and he had taken Americans, and they're also really good skirmishers. So it goes down to who was the best at actually tactically winning that. That can often become a draw. MVP, the dog team. Right, I started out thinking that the dog team was really crap, but I have over time changed my mind. I think it's more or less an auto-include because it's pretty cheap for the points to get an order dice in your list, and it can do stuff. So it kills the sniper in this game. The M15 dominated and stopped an engineer's truck at long range, which is what it's there for. But got killed by an auto blinder AT gun. Yeah, that'll happen, right? Autocannons are also really dangerous for M15s. Game 2 was a total victory against the Russian list with the KV2, so an easy game. That is, Death Stars typically don't do well at tournaments, right? They may have one game, but here the opponent had 8 order dice and a KV2 in a 750 point list. So that just got pinned down by the M15, which is what I want you to do. Right, if the enemy has a big, scary Death Star type unit, shoot them, pin them. Watch them do nothing for a couple of turns. That's fun, and it's good for you. And then he killed it with an engineer unit. And then the BAR shot the Russians to pieces very, very easily. Game 3 was against 3 Darker Stewards. 3 Darker Stewards. Well done, Juan. Well done, because that is not an easy game. So the Brit player had very weak infantry, because if you're paying that much for Darker Stewards in a 750 point game, I mean, one Darker Steward is 140 points, something like that, right? 135 points for Brits. So it's more than half his platoon in the Stewards. So Juan got a little bit lucky, killed a couple of the infantry units, which were soft, and then just had to duel it out with the Stewards. So the M15 stayed back, and he kept one Steward out of the fight by pinning it. Brilliant, and then just go down with everything once they shoot at you. Yes, that's the way to win. Stewards can delete units, but only if they stay up to take it. So what you do is, you, as a Steward player, you want to go last once you know what everyone else is doing, and then pick your targets. As the opponent, you want the Steward to go first, because then you can go down and cover and not get killed. The M15 with a heavy autocannon was crucial. The 2 HMGs were also crucial, keeping enemy armor at bay, because you could pin stuff, right? For 135 point, is it better than a Darker Steward? No, and I agree it's not. But it is also a very nice trick, and it, because it's so the turret is mounted way at the back, you can pop it out from the end of a building and shoot, which I guess that's a nice little trick you can do. The only thing with the M15 is that it takes up the same slot as the Darker Stewart, so it'll always, most of the time, in really high competitive levels of meta areas like the European international leagues and stuff, it will get dumped for the Darker Stewart. Now, at the end, this is why this is a Q&A. Why are German armies not competitive? From what I see, they just don't have anything special, but they have lots of cool units and upgrades: Panzerfausts, Gewehr, the 2+ to hit flamethrowers, the Brandenburgers, the 250/9, but they don't seem to fit into a cohesive form like the US mixed bag. He looked at Achilles' list from the WCC, completely different than most other lists, and he looked at the Danish nationals lists, and it wasn't really. I mean, the Danish nationals lists, the German list that we're seeing there, are not like competitive lists. One of them has 2 mouse, so there are 2 lists with mouse. So what he asked here: what happened to make Germany great again? Did Europe give up on them? A little bit, I think. During the last few months, we have not really seen anyone attempt to make Germany great again. Case Blue came out, and that was a win for everyone else but Germany. Because, I mean, the minor nations got stuff. Italians got stuff. Italians are now the premier Axis nation in my book. They're really, really good. Germans, yeah, not so much. So Tough Gut and Soft Underbelly were the last like great upgrades for Germany, and I think the main problem here is that they don't have a focused army playstyle that they lend themselves to. They have one maybe, and that's not a good one. So they don't really have rules that lend themselves to a certain playstyle. The rules are a little bit all over the place. Their units are good, but they're all expensive. So they are not like points for value. There are no budget options where you like, this is really good for the points. It's all like, yeah, you're paying 140 points for a couple of Brandenburgers, whatever. So you have to be very, very good with your Germans, very well trained, like Achilles, in order to do Germans right now. A lot of people, like all of last year, a lot of people were trying out Make Germany Great Again. It was a whole meme starting from this channel, I guess, most of it. But it hasn't really worked yet. It hasn't. We haven't seen it go in and just conquer the top placements. We have seen a few people do well with Germans. Russell Wright has won a tournament with Germans, and Achilles, of course. But I mean, 2 people, that's not a wave. It's not Germany doing something meta. So I think the one thing that Germany has going for it that's very cheap and that it has access to is multi-rocket launchers. Because Germany can take multi-rocket launchers in the artillery slot, Nebelwerfers, Howling Cows, and they can take it in the tank slot with Panzerwerfers. And what's that? There's one more, like Stuka Sufus, something like that. There are a couple of, so they can take 2 in a single generic reinforced platoon, and I think that's the only place where they sort of become very competitive. But as I've said in previous videos here, multi-rocket launchers are not reliably competitive. Like 1, maybe 2 is good, 3, not that much. So for me, I guess Germany isn't great again yet. We do have the makings of a lot of great units, but we don't have a coherent build. I agree. That, I think, is one of the things that is still lacking for Germany. So that was it for me today. Congratulations again, Juan, on your victory, and I hope to see Germany back again being great at some point. That was it. See you in the next one. Cheers.